Okay, hey. All right, let's see if we can get this. All right, so just quick on the text you sent with the worksheet. So I'm looking at the worksheet, section 4.4, parallel and perpendicular lines. So it's going to be real quick. Parallel, the symbol for parallel looks like this. And parallel lines never intersect, they never touch. It's like railroad tracks. Perpendicular, the symbol is like this. Perpendicular lines, they intersect and they form a 90-degree angle. So perpendicular lines are going to be the way they intersect, they form a right angle, and that's what makes them perpendicular. And these are the symbols, so parallel and perpendicular. The key with parallel and perpendicular lines are the slopes. It boils down to the slope. If you have a set of parallel lines, they never intersect, they always are just right beside each other, that means their slopes are the same. So if you have the slope, let's just call it m sub 1, that just means it's the slope. N sub 1 equals M sub 2. The two slopes are the same. They have different intercepts and they have different points on the line, but their slopes are the same. Perpendicular slopes are a little bit different. If you have N sub 1, then the N sub 2 is going to be the opposite reciprocal. The opposite reciprocal. So if your slope was M sub 1, then it would be negative 1 over M sub 1, the opposite reciprocal. So you're going to flip it. So let me just give you an example. Let's say that you have a slope, I don't know, negative 2. So if you want to do parallel lines, then you'd have to use the slope negative 2. The slopes have to be the same. If your slope was perpendicular, then the opposite would be positive, and the reciprocal would be flip it. So the slope would be 1/2 because that's opposite. So negative, positive, and then the reciprocal means you flip it. So negative 2 would flip to be 1/2. And then that's the slope of a perpendicular line. Slopes for parallel lines have to be the same. Slopes for perpendicular lines have to be the opposite reciprocal, or the negative reciprocal. I just say the opposite. Now, I took these two examples from the workbook. This is number 1 and this is number 12, and I'm going to show you how to do these, and then I'll show you another one. So the directions say, let me pull up the directions again just a second. The directions say, oops. Who is that? What, bud? I'm making a video.
It was just at, like,
buddy,
Daddy?
I don't know. Try to go find him, okay? Bye.
Bye.
Sorry. Write an equation in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. For the line that passes through the given point, so we want it to pass through this point, and we want it to be parallel to this equation. Now, if it's parallel, that means it has to have the same slope. So step 1 is you have to identify the slope you need. This slope is 1. Now, if it's parallel, we want to use the same slope. So there's a 1 in front of here. So this is the slope we're going to use. And we're going to use this point. This is an x, and this is a y. We're going to plug all that in to find our new intercept. So this is y. Y equals mx. So mx, I'm just plugging it into y equals mx plus b. Oh no, your Mac will sleep soon unless you plug into plus b. Hey, Bryn, Wes, come here. So we're going to solve. 2 equals 3 plus b. Hey, my computer's about to die. Can you get my computer charger? It's on the side of my teacher bag. Subtract 3. So our b is equal to negative 1. And now we plug it back in everything. So the whole purpose is we want to write an equation in slope-intercept form. We have the slope. We have the intercept. So now I'm going to plug it into y equals mx, so 1x, plus b, which is minus 1. So that is the answer. Plug it in there, please. Unwrap it. Thank you. Okay.
Oh, did you know you just put all that on tape?
What? Yeah, what do you mean? I'm teaching. I'm teaching Grace.
Oh.
Okay, thanks, Ren. All right, thank you.
Guys.
Are y'all leaving or
where's
staying?
Daddy?
I don't know. Okay.
I don't know his password.
Okay. You don't need to. You need to wait for him. Please.
I don't know.
If you're going to stay in here, you have to be quiet. Don't worry about it then. He's doing something. Just like I'm doing something. So perpendicular lines, they are going to intersect at close the door. They're going to intersect at a 90-degree angle. and the slopes are the opposite reciprocal. So again, write an equation in slope-intercept form that goes through the given point and has a perpendicular line to this one. So this is the line we want. So we need to know our slope. So right here, negative 1/3. But to be perpendicular, we have to flip it, and we have to take the opposite. So it's negative, so that means it's going to be positive slope, and then we need to flip it. So the slope we want to use is 3. So I don't need this anymore. I'm going to use my x and my y because it wants to go through this point. We need to intersect at this point, or the line, maybe it's not intersecting at this point, but it wants to go through this point. So y equals mx plus b. And we solve for b, and b equals 4. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. Now I have my b, and I have my slope. So y equals 3x plus 4, and that would be the equation. If you want to check, you would take your graphing calculator, and you would type in this equation, the original equation, in the y equals on your graphing calculator. You type in negative 1/3 x plus 9, graph it, and this, since it has a negative slope, it's going to be negative. Then you would type in this equation in y2, graph it, and they should look perpendicular. You could check these two. You could type this one into y equals, this into y1, type this into y2, and graph them, and they should be parallel. Okay.
So, Mommy, but
Yes.
isn't she, like, still doing it?
What do you mean, is she doing it?
I mean, like, are you still, like, videotaping this?
I'm still videotaping, yes.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to show you another one from that worksheet. Okay, I'm going to do number, buddy, don't block my light, please. Thank you. I'm going to do number 12 and number 21. Okay, so look on your worksheet and look at number 12 and 21. Number 12 says it goes through the point 3, 1, and it's 2x plus 5y equals 7. Number 21, it goes through the point 4, negative 5, and it's 2x minus 5y equals negative 10. Oh, that's kind of funny. 2x minus 5y. 2x plus 5y. Okay. So again, we need to find the slope. This is not in slope-intercept form, so we need to put it in slope-intercept form. When you, oh, please stop. Thank you. I have it there because I want, okay, thanks. We need to do minus 2x. 2x plus 7, divide by 5. And the slope is negative 2/5. Now, if we want, I'm making a video. You are distracting. Cannot wait. Could that wait? Yes, it could. The slope is negative 2/5, so we want to do this, use the same slope, and then we have our x and our y. So we're going to plug it in. 1 equals m x plus b. We simplify. This is negative 6 over 5. It's a negative. We add 6/5. So our b is 1 6/5, which is really 2 1/5. So that's our b, because 6/5 is 1 1/5. Now we have all the parts we need. Y equals mx, negative 2/5 x plus 2 1/5. So now you have an equation in slope-intercept form, and if you want to check it, you have to plug this into y equals, and then you plug this into y equals, and they're going to be parallel because they have the same slope. They just have different y-intercepts. All right, let me show you number 21. What? Y'all go. Y'all go. They've been waiting for you.
Okay.
Sorry, family reunion in the room. Number 21, we have a point and we have a line. Again, this is not in slope-intercept, so we need to convert it to slope-intercept. I'm going to subtract 2x and then divide by negative 5. So a negative over a negative is going to be a positive, so that's 2/5 x. And negative 10 divided by negative 5 is a positive 2. So here's my equation, and here's my slope, 2/5. But for a perpendicular line, I need the opposite reciprocal. So I need a negative 5/2. That's the slope I want to use. That's going to be the trick to remember when to use the same slope, when to change it. I have a point, xy. So negative 5 equals mx plus b. I'm going to solve this. This is negative 20 divided by 2, which is negative 10. Add 10 to both sides. And b equals 5. Now I have a slope and a y-intercept. So negative 5/2 plus, negative 5/2 x plus 5, because that's my b, and there's my equation. So if you plugged this into your y equals y1, and if you plugged this into y2, and you graphed them, you would see that these were perpendicular. And this crosses, make sure this crosses the point 4, negative 5 on your calculator. Okay, I hope this helps you with those problems. Please let me know if you need a little more guidance.